Yes, time to talk about the Galaxy S5. They have a slightly bigger than the S4, 5.1 inch Full HD Super AMOLED display. It's got a thing in it called adaptive display, that's what they call it anyway, and what it means is it takes the content that it's going to display, and it takes the ambient lighting of the room, and it combines them to kind of figure out how to make it look the best for the lighting you're in. So that way, if you're in full direct sunlight, you can still see your phone really, really well. It's got a 2800 milliamp hour battery. With this is very vastly improved from the S4. You can get 12 hours of video playback and 10 hours of LTE browsing. That is incredible. That's a lot. This phone would take a lot, it seems like, to burn through in a whole day, which is a real problem for me and my iPhone. It's got wireless charging, as many phones do today. It's got full LTE coverage, which is really nice. Faster networking is basically what that means. It's got really fast and reliable Wi-Fi. It's about 2 times the speed of what it was before. And that is the first smartphone. This is the fastest Wi-Fi in a smartphone. And it's the only time that they've doubled their Wi-Fi speed between generations. So let's talk about the camera now. 0.3 seconds. 0.3 seconds. That's how long it takes this phone to autofocus. 0.3 seconds. That is fast. In fact, it's the fastest autofocus on any smartphone ever. That is awesome. There are a lot of firsts in this phone. It's got great colors with HDR, and it has instant HDR, which is really nice. HDR stands for high dynamic range. And another first, it's the first smartphone with HDR video. Most smartphones only do HDR with photos. This phone also does it with video to make your videos look as good as they possibly can. That's pretty cool. They've improved user experience in the camera interface, which is always good. Your camera should be intuitive. Developers out there that make camera apps, it needs to be intuitive, it needs to be simple, it needs to look good. And Samsung's done it with the S5s. It's got a 16 megapixel sensor, but it's not all about the megapixels. It also depends on how big the sensor is. The sensor's big, so you will be getting really high quality images out of this phone. As I talked about in the last video, they have S Health in it, and they have a lot of improved stuff in that S Health app. Their goal was to provide the best personalized workouts ever. And they've done a pretty good job of it. I don't know if they've done the best, because I don't really look into workout programs, but they do have a really nice workout program in the new S Health. And they've incorporated a heart rate monitor on the Galaxy S5. This is a first with a smartphone. There are no smartphones out there that I've ever seen that have a heart rate monitor in them. Basically, right next to the camera flash on the back of the phone, if you hold your finger on it, it will detect your heart rate. This is useful for people that don't have any Galaxy Gears, the Gear watches. But if you do, then the watch will take it, and it's not a huge deal. But if you only have the Galaxy S5, that I can see how that would be a useful feature, and I think a lot of people will use this. This phone, just like their watches, are water and dust resistant IP67, which is really sweet. It's got the highest level of security on a smartphone, especially Samsung one. They've really improved their encryption and their security stuff. Now this is where Apple might get mad. They put a finger sensor in the home button for fingerprint. A few things that they've done, so Apple might not be able to sue them though. Instead of touching your finger to the home button, you have to swipe it. That's different than Apple's, because on Apple, you just hold your finger on it and it will detect it. Here you have to swipe down and it will detect. You use this to verify your identity. You can even program it for your bank. So if you need to log into your online banking, you can just swipe, and that is pretty cool if you ask me. I really think that will be a useful feature, just swiping your finger instead of typing everything. They got a thing called private mode, which is cool for like business people who don't want people to get into their phone. When it's in private mode, you choose what apps are available, and you can only get out of private mode with your finger swipe. They have a thing called kids mode, which Windows Phone has had for quite a while. Only certain apps are accessible, and it kind of has a different user interface, and again, it can only get out of with your fingerprint, with your finger swiping, or a passcode that you programmed in. They've got a cool thing, which I think all smartphones should have. It's called Ultra Power Saving Mode. Basically, it turns off all but the essentials for communication of the phone. So if you're in ultra power saving mode, basically what happens is the screen turns black and white, no more colors, turns off everything except for SMS, which is texting, and calling features. So basically it turns off everything but what is essential for you to be contacted and for you to contact somebody. So if you're away somewhere and you can't find a charger and you have a babysitter at home, what if she needs to contact you, something's wrong with the kids, you can turn this on and it will last your battery. They said that if you're at 10% battery and you turn this on, you can get 24 more hours out of the battery of your phone. So pretty likely that you will not run out of battery with this phone if you use this feature. And that's why I think all smartphones should have something like this, because it's awesome that they can extend the battery life like that by turning everything off that you don't need. So the back of the phone looks different. It kind of has the same feel of the full leather stitching backing of the Note 3. But it looks a little bit different. It's got a lot of colors. It looks more modern, and it feels a lot nicer than the plastic. They've made adjustments to the operating system to TouchWiz, and they've made it look cleaner and simpler and nicer. And yes, this phone is based off Android 4.4.2 KitKat. So guys, tell me, which of these features of the Galaxy S5 do you think are the best? Let me know in the comment below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to check out my friend Alex's channel. Alex is another tech guy. He puts out videos similar to the ones I do. He talks about things, and he is working on getting a regular schedule going. So if you want to go check out his channel and subscribe to him, click right there. I really do recommend subscribing to him. His videos are good, and they will only get better. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys next Sunday.